Right, welcome back to the Homegrown Music Podcast. We're on episode 13 now. Welcome back. How are you, Jack? How are you doing?
I am good. I'm tired as always, but I'm good.
Yeah, yeah.
How have you been?
I'm fantastic, man. I hear through the grapevine that you are in the process that you are
The
in
grapevine.
the grapevine, yeah, because that's definitely, that makes sense. I've never understood
Not
that
not
phrase.
just straight from me. I I don't actually know. It comes from the Marvin Gaye. Well, it doesn't come from the Marvin Gaye song, but
Yeah,
that's like
but
where
everyone
most people
knows
hear
it.
it.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look into that. That's quite
Yeah,
it's an interesting
but
thought. But anyway,
Uh,
yeah.
I heard it through the grapevine that you are in the process of recording for your band's
Mhm.
coming up EP. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a weird process because often, I never fancied myself doing recording or producing or any of it. I think it was about a year ago we first went into like a studio to start recording, and I think the process of it I just don't enjoy.
Mm.
I, because I think part of that was because there was a lot of sitting around and waiting for like guitar parts to be recorded, and then the guitar part gets put in, and then I can start doing bass stuff. But actually, I'm really happy with doing it now. The alternative was we wait till lockdown's finished and then we go into a studio
Yeah.
ourselves and do it all. That didn't
No.
work out, and I'd rather not wait that long
Yeah.
and
No,
just
for sure. There must
do it
be there
now.
must be a big difference as well between kind of being in a studio, not really having that much involvement in it apart from just playing the piece that you want to play. But this in this way, when you're recording everything yourself,
Mhm.
you must have so much more control over every
Yeah,
element. Like, you're putting in each and every instrument. There's no sitting around doing nothing in between kind of takes.
yeah, and yeah, it's been weird, and I think if Lloyd was up here and actually able to record parts with me, um, I don't think it would be like it was before, where we had to sit around and there was a group of people and we were all sat
Mm.
around and just sort of waiting. Um, but yeah, you have a lot more control, and it's weird because a lot of the songs. The idea is we're recording a six-track EP. That's been
Right.
our plan for since like the end of 2019, really.
Sure.
Um, and it's gotten to a point now. There's more than just six songs to record. There's actually like 16 I need to record. Um, but anyway, I'm messing around with it. But yeah, it's really weird because I put down a part, and I'll start with like a rhythm guitar part, because that's how all our songs are written, and just a guitar, a couple of chords, and then it
Sure.
builds from that. And then I'll put the guitar part down, and then I'll sit and I'll listen to it, and then I'll figure out a bass line, then I'll figure out an electric guitar part, and like a lead guitar part, and it changes a lot of our songs. Whereas normally we're a two piece with just acoustic guitars and a bass.
Yeah.
It's now there's percussion involved. There's lead guitar parts. There's all these different instruments sort of that we don't often use because we
Mm.
haven't had the ability to. So yeah, it's been really really interesting. It's just
Nice.
really fun.
Yeah, yeah. Because I remember we were speaking about it in a previous podcast, and about percussion and how you were gonna
Mm.
actually do that, because obviously you don't have access to a drum kit to record on a
No,
kit, but you found a creative way around that with the use
I
of
have.
cajon. Tell me about
Oh,
how that is to record and stuff like that.
it's weird. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not a percussionist, and Lloyd can play the drums, but we don't. He hasn't played drums on any songs we've written because he's the guitarist and so on, and we don't have access to a drummer and stuff. And I was having a real problem with programmed drums. We spoke about this last time.
Yeah.
It was more me venting about my problem with it. Was it doesn't sound right, and I didn't feel right putting it on music. on our stuff. So I bought a cajon because everyone needs it. I've played a cajon before, and they're simple and fun and easy to play. So it's not like I need to learn a whole new thing. But yeah, I had a problem with it being too loud.
Right.
Immediately, I thought it'd be quieter than the
Yeah.
drum kit, and it is. But I mic'd it up, and my microphone was placed like here in the room. The con was on the other side of the room. You can't quite get the depth of the room from my angle, but it's not a massive room, but it's got enough space. And my gain was peaking on my interface. It just wasn't having it. It was too loud. So I had to turn it down. But other than that, really fun. And yeah, we've already got 2 demo tapes done now.
Because in my head, for some reason, I just assumed that you'd have the microphone really close to the cajon, because it's such
that was my original thinking, was, I'll have to put it quite close. And I'm still trying to get an exact ratio between cajon to microphone distance, because there's a couple of, essentially how you play a hi-hat on the 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm emphasizing the 1 and the 3, but where I'm only playing with one hand on the 2 and the 4, it doesn't quite pick that up fully. So I'm still messing around a little bit. But I've got demo tapes out of it now, so I'm happy about that. And yeah, I mean, it's still far away, but it's like, I don't quite know how I'd get it closer without just like breaking the speakers. So
no, it's honestly it's really good progress from a couple of weeks ago. You know, we were still just talking about, you know, what you were going to do from then to now. You've got 2 demos going. That's pretty sick. It's pretty good going. Yeah.
And I mean, they were pretty much already done, those 2 songs, but they didn't have any percussion on them. One of them had programmed drums on, and I couldn't deal with it. And then but they're now finished. I've now got, for our first EP, I've still got 4 songs left to record, which will be fun because some of those are a bit more rock, a bit more.
Yeah.
You would have thought would need a full drum kit, but I'm going to try and see how it's going to work with a cajon.
Yeah, I feel like it could be really interesting actually to use a cajon, because you think of a lot of records, and drum kits used on so many records. Like, it's just like, maybe it'll be really refreshing actually to not hear some drums and just to hear something that's percussive, but just like different, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm missing the use of a cymbal. That's one thing that I thought. I know you can't get it on a cajon, but I was like, in my head, I was thinking I could maybe put a cymbal on this. But that's something I can talk about when I actually have a drummer to utilize and be like, put some cymbal here. Maybe I'll put program cymbals in. But it's fun though, and it'll be interesting to see how there's 2 particularly more rock songs on there, which are a bit more indie rock than the rest of the EP. It feels a bit more real now. It's at a point now where I'm like, right, I've really got quite a lot to do, and I'm quite happy that we wrote so much. Is because of lockdown. Eventually, when lockdown ends, Lloyd can come up and record vocals. That's the aim. Sorry. But I don't really want to have him come up for do 6 and then go back down, then come back up and do another, so on. So I'm just going to get everything we have recorded and then just have like one long session and do vocals all in one. So I've got a lot to do. I have to go back to writing stuff.
And that's quite a big commitment as well. Like, all the vocals in one session. You might want to think about bringing some like Hot Lemon or something for the vocal chords.
By one session, I don't mean like 1 7-hour session. I mean like if he comes up for like a weekend or a couple of days, do it over those couple of days, but do all of it over those couple of days. It would be interesting to try and shove it in like a 6-hour session, but I don't think that would work.
I think your vocals would be fried, you know. And if you it would be funny. It would be a funny concept for an EP if it was like chronologically recorded. So you recorded every
Yeah,
song in a row, and then by the end of the EP, like you can hear how the voice has degraded.
it's
Like,
just ended.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just a
Um,
croak at the end.
but it would be, yeah. I'm really excited though,
Yeah,
to get it all done, and then we can actually release stuff. But I made a promise at the beginning of the year that we'd have the EP out this year. And now it turns out I've got more than just one EP's worth of material. I've got really two EPs worth plus some extra stuff.
yeah,
And who knows, by the time that lockdown's ended, we may have more stuff after
yeah,
that
yeah,
we can
yeah.
then do. Um,
That'd be sick.
but yeah, yeah. So I'm really thinking we'll have enough material to release into early next year, really,
Mm.
which is really exciting to actually
Yeah,
think about and
because
have.
you've rebranded sort of as a band, haven't you?
Yes.
You've kind of gearing up towards a new start, I guess,
Mm.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, and we rebranded because we were having a conversation a couple of months ago, and we're just like, we were talking about releasing stuff and sort of album art. That was our main discussion, was like, what do we want the cover art to look like? And we were just like, we just didn't feel the last name. Like, we just were like, it's just not really
yeah,
working. And so we went through a long process of trying to pick out another name, and it was long because we couldn't think of anything. It's really hard coming up with band names.
trust.
You guys know.
Oh man, I feel like we changed our name so many times in, like, you know, the course of our lifetime, that it's not even funny anymore. Like,
Well, we're hoping this is the last name change that we have.
yeah, I
But
really
then, yeah,
like it, to be fair. I think I could see you guys
I
sticking
know.
with that. Yeah,
I wanted to use, for those who don't know, it's the dividers. I wanted to use the prefix and have a word, but the thing is, loads of '60s bands kind of already stole that,
yeah.
and we couldn't.
But I feel
Everyone's
like
already done it.
it lends to your sound as well. That if people hear
Mm,
that name, they're going to think, oh, that's quite a classic sounding name for kind of
yeah,
quite classic sounding songs. Do you know what I mean? You know,
yeah. It's
from what I gather of your style, it's, you know, influenced definitely by a lot of that kind of '60s rock and stuff like that, '60s,
yeah, and
'70s.
it calls back to that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. You know, like we're both massive fans of the Beatles, and the Cure and stuff, all beginning with the,
yeah,
and but it's that kind of sound we're going with, and I don't know, we just like the word dividers. It's a funny word, so we ran with
it's
it.
a really cool name, honestly, and it's memorable
Mm,
as well. Like, you know, you're not going to forget that name. It's simple enough that it's, you know, you're not going to forget it, and it's like
yeah.
bold, and yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
What I was surprised about was no one had already taken it.
Yeah,
That
really.
threw me, because we were like, we came down to like a couple of options, and we were like, we really like the dividers. And I hopped on Spotify and so on, and I looked up the dividers because I was like, someone must have taken that.
Mm, mm.
No one has it. So I'm
That's
glad
all good. You're in the clear there.
that's us. So we were all good. I was a bit, yeah. I would have thought someone would have at some point,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Well, there you
it's
go.
not that uncommon of a
Yeah,
word. But yeah, so I'm really excited, and I'm really looking forward to getting people to listen to our stuff.
for sure, for
And
sure.
yeah,
Yeah, man, I'm excited to hear it. I'm waiting in anticipation for a
I don't.
release.
As I'm sort of playing through the songs, I'm trying to go to myself, which one are people going to most like? I don't
Mm.
know if you guys do this when you were recording. You were like, which
Yeah,
one's going to be the one that people really, really enjoy? And I've got to be honest, one of the ones that we aren't going to release as a single, and we weren't really that 100% on being there to begin with, it's turned out to be one of my favorites on there,
yeah,
because during the recording process I've gone, oh, I can add that to it, I can do this. And then like, it's got this acoustic guitar riff on it. It's really simple, it's a stupidly simple riff, but it adds so much more to it than I would have thought. And that's about halfway through the EP. It'll be,
Sure.
I think, song 4, I think it is. So it'll break up the sound a bit, and I think people will like that one.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
definitely. I think if you think about a lot of songs, like some of my favorite songs are they were never singles when they were released. They were just maybe at the end of an album or in the middle of an album or an EP and stuff, and they're like really good songs, but the band has obviously listened to it and gone, is this going to get like commercial appeal? Is this going to be enjoyed on a whole, on a large scale? You never know.
Yeah, and that's what we were sort of thinking to ourselves. It's slower tempo than everything else on there, and I was like, I don't really want our first couple of singles to have like a really slow song.
Yeah.
Because that's not entirely our sound. Our sound is a bit more quick pace. So I don't really want that to be sort of a song that people will first listen to.
I get you.
I'm really proud of it. I'm really happy with it. So
good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do actually need to record the singles.
Yeah. You'll get there eventually one day. Yeah, man. I mean, I honestly can't wait. Can't wait to hear it.
Good. I'm glad. I don't know what your favourite might be. I'm still. I was playing one of them over the phone, so the audio won't have been great. I was playing one of them to our friend Tim, who helped write a couple of them, and it's the latest song to be added to it, called "My Hoodie."
All right.
In brackets, "Give It Back."
And, oh, I love that.
It's not quite humorous, but it's got that sort of humorous edge to it. Which I think the rest of the EP is a bit more serious, and then that one's just like, give me back my stuff, I want it.
the name is funny, I have to say. That is that's a universal feeling, that expression. So
but yeah, it's that's a fun one. Yeah,
I can't wait to hear that, to be honest, because I also think you're because you've spoken a lot about Tim Minchin in the past. I wonder if that has kind of played a role in that kind of slightly satirical, humorous tone.
Yeah, definitely. I think because, and you'll probably relate to this, your first musical inspiration is always the one that you go back to. And for me, the reason I started playing piano, the reason I started listening to music more was Tim Minchin. And I don't know what it is about his music, because even his later stuff, which isn't exactly like humorous or particularly like comedy related, there's still something so unique about it. And I just find myself going back to it all the time. And
it's a really interesting way into music through comedy music, which like a lot of people they're not really listening to the music, they're just listening for the punchlines and the jokes. But from what I can tell, you've really enjoyed all elements of it, the comedy and the musical aspect.
Well, I think because if you take other musical comedians like Bo Burnham or Weird Al or something, they're competent musicians, but the main appeal of what they do, Bo Burnham more, is the actual comedy side of it. Their music isn't the highlight of what they do, but it's as a sort of as a vessel to get their music, the comedy across. And the same with Weird Al, but to a more extent, he does exclusively music, but to use as a comedy vessel. Whereas, and it was around the same time as I was listening to them a lot, but I think Minchin stuck with me more because it's like he's very funny, but he's also a really good piano player, and the music isn't just a vessel for him to get across the comedy. It's more like he is a musician whose lyrics just happen to be funny. He cares about the musicianship, doesn't he? He wants it to sound good. Have you he's Yeah, sorry.
Oh no, sorry, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to repeat what I'd already said.
I was just going to ask, have you ever listened to Tom Lehrer?
Name doesn't ring a bell.
You should really check out Tom Lehrer, because he's quite I don't know if he's alive anymore, probably not, to be honest. But he was like he did like the Song of Periodical Elements.
Oh right, okay.
I don't know if he was the first one to do that. He might have been, but he was like a musician. He had, a pianist, accompanist, and he had lots of like funny songs and about like really dark topics. Like there was this one song called like Poisoning Pigeons in the Park, and it's like this really like happy, like happy upbeat kind of song about how he's gonna like lace breadcrumbs with poison and poison the pigeons in the park. And it's really bizarre and like dark and odd, but I think you'd really enjoy his music because he sings. And so check it. I'll send you a link to Tom Lehrer. I think you'll enjoy it.
I'll give it a listen. Yeah, I mean, I just enjoy comedy music, but it's, yeah, as you say, it's not the normal conventional way of going into music.
No,
there's a lot of kids who listen to like Green Day or Nirvana and go, I want to play guitar because I want to play like Smells Like Teen Spirit, and then they'll go from that point. I just wanted to do cool blues runs down a piano. That was my that was my whole thing.
I think it's definitely it's because it's such a weird way to get, and it's not weird, but I think it's really cool. But it's such a different way to get into music that is ultimately going to help you shape a different sound than more traditional routes into music. Like you said, most people just want to shred like Metallica or and it's like that's their entrance into music. I guess everyone has their own individual kind of avenue into what gets them into music, but I think especially lyrically, people like Tim Minchin. They're so clever. It's not it's good quality songwriting, so it'll
that's what sticks with me is not only is he a brilliant piano player, but his lyrics, even in the comedy songs, even in ones that are like strictly comedy, are still really well written. Yeah. And then you listen to his more serious stuff, like his new album and so on, and it's more serious, but there's still elements of that humor in there. And it's just enjoyable to me, that kind of stuff. But but we still got serious stuff, and Lloyd's very much like The Cure and so on, like very more serious, grounded music. Sure. And I'm trying to get that kind of stuff in there as well, because that's also big inspiration for us. And
big time.
Getting that through us. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm glad.
Cool.
I don't know where we can go from there.
I think we've exhausted that kind of avenue of conversation.
You guys had a music video come out the other day.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Which
was interesting because as it was done during lockdown. We could talk about that.
Yeah, can do. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. You posted a while back, the way you recorded it, your part was you sat at the drums, blasted the song through a speaker into your ear, and you're playing it to get it in time.
Oh man, like the filming the music video process, I'll take you through that day. So
go
on. The way I usually have my kit set up, I have like some really ugly like angles. It's not when you look at a music video, you want things to be simplistic and not too over the top. And my kit is a little bit, when I've got all the bells and whistles on it, like I've got a weird little stack thing and a cowbell and a little weirdo little tom like just hanging. Yeah, it's just, it looks like one of those drum kits where, you look like you're overcompensating for something. When you've got loads of, I don't have loads of stuff, but I just have lots of weird little additions to my sound. Yeah. But when you play one of those songs, you don't need a cowbell and like a stack and a china cymbal. You just need crash, ride, hi-hat, snare, kick, and maybe 2 toms, but like really
Yeah.
simple. So I started by just stripping down my kit to the bare essentials, because I was like, in the you just go down on your chair. I
meant to get the back of the chair.
We're even now, so that's good. We're like at the same angle.
There we go.
But I had to like take everything out of the room where I keep my drums, and like to basically strip it down, hoover the floor, because you know something drummers will know is when you play drums, your sticks will like chip off wood chips, like little kind of splinters. Yeah. So you know, yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like there was so much you could, start a fire with the amount of wood that was on the carpet. So I hoovered that up, and then I had to put up a big white sheet behind me because I didn't really want people seeing what I had in the background, which was just like some bookcases and stuff, and some like board games that haven't been touched for years, and it was a bit of a mess. So I was like, instead of moving that stuff, I'm just going to put a big white sheet in front of it. Yeah. So I had to like pin this big white sheet up behind me, and then I was pretty proud of this because I thought it was quite a cool innovation. I used it's not that smart, but I used paper clips on the back of the screen to like pin fairy lights, to like have the fairy lights hanging on the back of the screen so they kind of shone through it.
That's kind of cool,
because I didn't want them on the front of it, because then you'd see a bunch of exposed wires and some fairy lights. But if I had it behind, all you could see coming through was the like bits of light, and I thought the effect looked pretty cool. You can't really see it that much in the video because I'm only in it for like little clips, but like to make drumming, like playing for a music video on the drums is difficult because you want it to look like you're playing the song properly, but in order to do that, you kind of have to make some sacrifices. So I had to basically detune all of the drum heads, so when you hit them, there was no tension being applied to them. They were just like flabby bits of plastic. You hit it and it would just go. It would just make a plop sound. It was like blop blop, because there was just no tension was being applied. Nothing was happening. The same on my snare drum, and then on the cymbals. I don't know if you can see in the video, but if you take a closer look, you will see that the underside of the cymbal is just completely covered in tape, like covered absolutely. Like I just put so much tape on the bottom of the cymbals because it gets rid of a lot of the sustain. So when you hit it, you might get the initial clang, but there's no there's no decay of the sound. It's just like clang, nothing. When you hit a cymbal normally, it's crash, for a long amount of time. But just if you tape them, it chokes the sound out of them, and then they're just like clang, clang, clang. And it sounded really weird when I was playing, because I was like, this is not how a drum kit should sound. It was like
it's completely wrong.
Yeah. But so yeah, I got my dad to film it. He was like walking around with my phone, like on a little tripod thing, like getting some cool angles. And at one point I just told him, I was like, just get creative with it, just do some wacky angles. Yeah, like I wanted to get a couple of still shots for the video, but then I also thought, I was like, just get creative with it. And my dad, being the person he is, started doing all these weird, like crazy angles, and it was great though. I think it turned out pretty decent. And the guys, they were able to go to the studio because obviously their brothers and their dad, runs a studio, so they were like all in the same bubble. So they could go there, and they basically set up some speakers and some lights and stuff, and did a little shoot there. Just played, and I was pretty happy with how it came out. I think we spoke about it a little bit, spoke about kind of editing, and I think in the end we went for a bit of some minimal effects, and some like cool like transitions. There's a lot of like fade transitions. There's not many like hard cuts. Me personally, I would go for like hard cuts from shot to shot, but I think it looks kind of cool the way it kind of things kind of phase in and out. But
I think it works, the
yeah,
fade, particularly with that song, because it's quite a reverby. I don't know why
yes,
reverb and fade
yeah.
just
The riff kind of reverbing in and out, and the
yeah
fade, it kind of does match up. Yeah. If we were playing a bit more of maybe like a staccato-y song and a bit more of a heavy hitting song, maybe I'd want some harsh cuts from person to
yeah.
person because I feel like that would match the song better. But yeah, I'm really happy with it actually.
Who edited it?
So their dad edited it. Teddy and George's dad, Neil, edited it, and he did a pretty good job on it. I think his choice of shots was decent, and yeah, pretty happy with how it came out in the end. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he used to
That
be a graphic designer, so he kind of knows what he's doing when it comes to all that
he
software
seems to
stuff.
do like everything.
He honestly he is a massive help to us as a
Yeah,
band. Obviously, because it's his kids, he wants to help, and you know, I'm happy. You know, if we can get
works
a
out for
leg
you.
up, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Because I mean, you
anything
know,
to help. Yeah,
exactly, like any opportunity you can get, and we really appreciate it because I think it's easy to take stuff like that for granted if you're in that position. But I think it's like you have to sit and think about it and go, wow, like we are really actually super privileged to have that opportunity that we can literally, you know, say, oh, are you free on the weekend? You know, let's go to the studio and rehearse. And it's, you know, it's no, like it's, you know, you don't have to, you know, book it. You just kind of, there's a spare room. Neil says it's chill. We'll go and jam. And it's like, it's fantastic. But we are
very
super
helpful.
fortunate. Yeah. And I think
Yeah,
we appreciate that because a lot of people don't have that, you know, and
no,
we're super lucky, basically.
yeah, but yeah, it's good that you got a leg up, as you say, and yeah, but yeah, I mean, we've been trying to think of music videos, and it's kind of hard to think of like ideas of how to do it because I don't want loads of videos of like just us playing the
Yeah.
music. Like that will probably work fine for a couple of songs, but some of the more story-driven songs, I really want the video to sort of emphasize that.
Yeah.
And one of the songs was supposed to be shot at a party and have like groups of people because the song is talking about being at a party and the anxiety you feel. This is social
Yeah.
anxiety
Yeah.
song,
Yeah.
and we can't do that obviously because we can't have big gatherings of people.
No.
So we might not be able to do a video for that because it's
That's so
impossible.
sad, man. It's so
I know.
sad. Even just thinking about what a party would be like is mental, you know, like you know, being around other people and stuff. Yeah, man. I think the time will come though, and when it does, you know, you'll be able to get, you know, you'll be able to get some sort of gathering for a music video, you know. I think it'll be
Yeah,
sick.
the couple of songs I think would work with like just small groups of people.
Yeah.
That one was more supposed to be not in my head. I was just going to be like, we'll just go to a party and then we just take a camera with us and we'll
Yeah.
just like take loads of pictures and videos and then just shuffle it
Yeah.
all together.
Yeah.
And Lloyd just looked really sad by sitting in the corner, and we'll get a couple of shots of that, and he'll be fine. But yeah, I think we'd run into a couple of issues with people not wanting to be in the video. We just
Possibly.
asked.
It's one of those things that might require a little bit of prior planning.
Yeah, I mean, it would have, but that was the original idea. Was we just go to a party and catch it like as naturally as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of just having like a bunch of actors sitting around pretending to drink and pretending to, you know, be enjoying themselves. It's like actually
you want a real authentic
just,
thing.
Yeah. And then they would just have like Lloyd sat in the corner looking sad.
And that'll be the acting. Or will that be real?
That'll be the acting.
Who knows? Depends what the party's like, I guess.
Yeah, but actually now I'm looking at my notes. There's 2 songs based at a party. Might be 3.
The one about the hoodie, that should be what you should do is you should animate the hoodie to be like a personified person, and this
That's don't tempt me.
I'm getting all deep and meta. No, it's a stupid idea. Don't do that.
Wasn't that the plot of a Jacob Sartorius music video? Like,
God, no.
When the hoodie was alive.
Believe it. Yeah. Oh God.
That was a
different time. Forget I said that. forget I said that. I did not say that. I was definitely inspired by the Blur song with the milk, coffee and TV, the milk carton that walks around.
Sure. Yeah. Do you remember the Cadbury advert from years ago where it was like all the clothes were like dancing? Because I can't remember. Yeah, I don't remember it fully. That was weird. That always reminds me of that kind of stuff. It's like when clothes are moving.
Yeah,
they're dancing in a Cadbury advert.
There was an IKEA advert, wasn't there, as well, where the clothes were like flying through the sky and like flying into the windows and into people's drawers. And
yeah,
I think, yeah.
This is the problem with now that we all watch stuff online and on Netflix and stuff. We miss out the adverts between between shows.
I don't know if that's a bad thing, really. I mean, it's probably good. We're not being, subconsciously brainwashed to want those things,
Capitalism.
Yeah.
I miss some of those videos because that's just so weird.
Man. Yeah, man. Sometimes I like to sit and, like, if I'm watching TV with my family, critique the adverts, because my mum used to work in advertising. So I'll like say to her, I was like, Mum, do you think that's a good advert? And she'll be like, not really. They didn't really capture the target audience with that one, and stuff like that. It's like, this is interesting, but
learning stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. I think a little bit of that comes in when it comes to stuff like music videos, and you have to think about how your media is going to engage an audience.
But that was our thing. Was like we need a way of particularly with some of the videos where they're more story driven. I was like, I want to be able to get across the story of the song, but in like a way that people will. It doesn't come across too weird. Like I don't want it. I don't know how to properly explain it, but I don't want it to just reinforce the lyrics of the song. I want it to be a bit more, and I want there to be a bit more going on and little things for people to notice and stuff. That in my head. That's how I was thinking. I was like, I really want, and I don't want the video to come across too cringy, for lack of a better word, or like people are going to look and be like, what the hell? You want something that captures people and complements the song.
I think that's the challenge when it comes to narrative videos like that, like a story videos. It's kind of, it's not easy, but I think it's probably easier to have a video where when you're doing a performance video, where the only thing you really have to worry about is like the setting and the lighting and what clothes you're going to wear, but when it comes to a narrative, there's so much more that goes into it, because it's like getting the right tone.
I'll just have to stop writing narrative songs.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe you could like take the lyrics of a song and like break it down and then like try and almost storyboard like what the video would look like comparatively. Maybe that could be a good way of doing it.
Yeah, I'll have to, it's in the future. I'll figure all this
stuff out. Don't worry about it now. Yeah, you've got time.
Yeah, I've got one plan in mind for a music video, but I need an animator, and I don't know any animators. That's for a song in the future. It's not going to be released anytime soon, but I've got the idea. So I now need to go and find an animator, which is fun.
My brother does art. I think he turned down an animation commission, but just simply because it was like it would take too long, and it was too like it was a bit too much. Like to I think animation does take a serious amount of time, because you have to get like every frame, tiny inconceivable moments,
especially for a song, for a music video as well. I didn't want to send off a song to an animator and be like, oh, by the way, this needs to be done in like 3 weeks. Like,
Yeah, no,
don't want to do that.
no,
It's more I want to send them it like months and months in advance and just be like,
yeah,
just take your time, get it right,
yeah,
and then we'll release the song when the video's done. Like,
yeah.
and in the meantime, I'll have loads of stuff to release. So I need to figure that out.
And it's great. It's great you've got a job now because you can start budgeting for that sort of thing. Like you can start, putting aside money towards a video budget and stuff like that. No,
and not blowing paychecks on Gahons immediately.
so you were saying it gives structure to your week.
Yeah, and I'm glad about that. And money's always good.
Yeah, for sure.
Just have about. And,
yeah. Especially being a musician, I feel like it can be a bit pricey sometimes, kind of instruments and such and equipment and no, but it's man, I'm happy for you that you've been able to kind of get this recording and stuff going. And
I'm really excited. And as I say, we're really at a stage now where some of it's at least becoming demos, and even if vocals aren't on them yet, the rest of the song's pretty much done, and working around that. So I'm excited.
So we have reached the end of the 13th episode of the Homegrown Music Podcast. Hope you all enjoyed. Thanks for watching and listening. And we'll see you.
See you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.